my little darling. Are you ready for today's story? Very good. Tonight, we will listen to the legend of the moon, the story of tiny specks of light, sea jellyfish, and fireflies. Let us begin. In the early days of the Earth, the sky was a very harsh environment. During the day, the ground and the ocean were scorched by a giant fireball filled with hot, melting lava. At night, living creatures still could not sleep well because of the blinding white light from a cold crystal ball. In this difficult situation, the animals met together to find a way to survive. Everyone agreed that they needed to take away the light from the crystal ball, because everyone knew they could not get close to the fireball. The debate to choose which creature would perform this sacred mission lasted for many days. Finally, humans, sea jellyfish, and beetles decided to join in. Legend has it that inside that crystal ball, there was an eternal flame, something that humans had always desired. Beetles were creatures that loved to sleep. They always longed to immerse themselves in the quiet night to satisfy their sleepiness. As for the jellyfish, they hated the white light. This light could not pass through their glass-like bodies. However, it still seared their delicate skin and made them extremely uncomfortable. They joined the cause immediately. They chose to depart early in the morning, the time of transition between the two entities. At this hour, the fireball was just peeking out, sending its first orange rays from the eastern sea. Meanwhile, the crystal ball was slowly lowering toward a distant mountain peak in the west. The sea jellyfish, with their long tentacles, clung to the human's back. The human rode on the back of the beetle with its strong wings. The three of them began their journey. To the naked eye, the crystal ball seemed to sit right on top of the mountain peak. However, the further they went, the more they realized that the close distance was just an illusion. The higher they flew, the thinner the air became, until they could hardly breathe. The beetle had to brace itself to dodge the hot and cold winds that blew back and forth continuously. Although the light of the crystal ball had weakened to make way for the fireball, its power was still incredibly fierce as they drew close. They had to fly for a long time to arrive. When they were only a short distance from the crystal surface, the pressure of the light became unbearable. The human and the beetle had to squeeze their eyes shut. They feared that with just one direct look at the radiant sphere, its terrible light would blind them instantly. During the most difficult moment, the sea jellyfish, the only creatures in the team without eyes, volunteered to go first. They spread their bodies wide, accepting the pain to shield against the light from the sphere. Taking advantage of the precious moment when the sea jellyfish acted as a shield, the human peeked through the gaps of his fingers. He used all his strength to launch a spear through the jellyfish's tentacles, aiming straight at the crystal ball. A roaring explosion shook the sky. The crystal ball was pierced with a large hole, and many cracks began to spread across its surface. The chaotic beams of light, tightly compressed for thousands of years inside the sphere, began to rush out at a terrifying speed. Countless tiny, sharp crystal fragments carried the remnants of that light as they were swept away. The blast flung the sea jellyfish far into the distance. Although most of the light was shielded by the jellyfish's bodies, many tiny crystal fragments still pierced the human's eyes. In an instant, the human collapsed. In that life-and-death moment, the beetle defied the danger. It dashed straight into the hole created by the human. Using its 3 pairs of strong legs, it grabbed the fiercely burning flame and quickly soared out. Finally, after a difficult journey, the trio of light thieves succeeded in their purpose. They returned with deep wounds etched into their bodies, but also with pride for bringing a peaceful life to all creatures. After using its body as a shield, the sea jellyfish had to carry tiny fragments of light all over its body for the rest of its life. But thanks to this, the jellyfish became one of the most splendid residents of the ocean. Every year, when night falls, they celebrate by swimming in large schools on the sea surface. They light up, creating brilliant, shimmering waves, as if to show their triumph to all creatures. The beetle's strong wings were scorched by the heat of the fire, becoming much thinner and weaker. From then on, it could only fly low near the ground, living in cool bushes of grass and sleeping soundly in the quiet night it loved so much. Furthermore, its belly was severely burned from holding the flame throughout the return journey. That burn contained a part of the eternal flame, glowing brightly with every breath it took. Because of this, people no longer called it a beetle. Now, it had a new name, the firefly. Whenever night returns, it blinks a small lamp at its tail, as if to remind the world of the flame it once bravely held close to its heart. The human brought back the fire to warm his kind and drive away wild beasts. However, human eyes carried the aftershocks of that crystal explosion forever. That is why, even until now, whenever we look at a strong light and then close our eyes, we still see tiny specks of light dancing. Those are the tiny crystal fragments remaining in human eyes. The appearance of the Earth changed completely from that moment. After being shattered and stripped of its fiery core, the crystal ball no longer had the ability to shine blindingly like before. Its broken pieces, along with the scattered beams of light, spread across the night sky, turning into countless twinkling stars. The sphere itself became a quiet ball, only knowing how to reflect the light of the fireball. People called it the moon. The moon shed a gentle and cool light. The true dark night was born, bringing the quiet darkness that all creatures had long desired. The fireball still ruled the day under the name of the sun, but now it had a clear boundary. When the sun sets, the moon takes the throne, beginning the kingdom of sleep. The story ends here. Now close your eyes, sleep tight, and have beautiful dreams. Good night.